All right, what's up, everyone? I hope everyone has had a good start to their new year. I apologize for the delay on the bag reviews, but a lot's been going on with the holidays. But as soon as I have time and the weather warms up, that's why we're inside today making this video, I will get some more reviews out to you guys. But I wanted to take a second just to maybe help some of you guys in determining what type of bag you should select to fit your game. And I've categorized them into 4 different types here that I'll go over today. So the most important thing I think we'll talk about is category number 1 is for new players or people that are learning to develop their game. You need to start with a bag that you can just get in the hole, right? So I usually say, I call these hole runners. So bags that you can just put on the board, slide the board, get it in the hole, and you can do it regularly with consistency. I usually suggest a bag that is disc filled, especially for those of you that cannot throw a very flat bag. I'm not very good at this. I've thrown hundreds of thousands of bags, and just because I have a very unique release, I don't throw the flattest bag, and sometimes will punish me because I need something that's more forgiving. That's why I'll throw a disc filled bag that'll land, it'll go flat, and won't punish me as bad. That's why if I'm wanting to hole race, just put up big numbers. I think I can outscore someone just going hole for hole. I'm gonna start with either like Sub-Zero Tempest, which is a pro sniper variant, same materials. My favorite hole for hole bag to this day remains the Vortex Zone. I throw this at a lot of big tournaments because I'm very confident with it. 7.9, pro snipers are 6.9. I also suggest the Lucky Clover if you want to throw carpet. This bag plays about a 6, 7, 9, depending on conditions. And if it's really humid, that's where I'm going to go to the Razor Podium, which is probably about a 7.9, but in humidity is every bit of 6.8. So I can still play what I have with the Pro Sniper in this bag if I'm just going hole for hole. So if you're someone that likes to hole race, consider one of these. Find a bag that's comfortable going up the board. Now, if you're someone that throws hard, you might not want to start with a bag that's like a 6.9. You may want to start with a slower bag, one that I'll talk about in my next category. But if I'm wanting to hole race, if the boards are really fast, I will go to one of the ones up here. But in normal conditions, 6.9 is a very good speed range for me. And if I'm just trying to race someone, these are probably a bag I'll throw because they're all flat disc filled. Podium maybe not so much, but it's so big and floppy and fast. It's super hole friendly. You'll see a lot of people that stay in this category or your game changer throwers, right? We all probably know someone that's that person that just breaks out game changers, but every time they throw them, I've got a guy here locally, love him to death. John throws game changers and he puts them in the hole every time. If you do not throw something in his way, he's probably going to put the bag in the hole. Now, a lot of people have a lot of success doing that. They're like, hey, I'm just going to hole race. I know I can put more in than my opponent, and so that's where they're going to stay. They're comfortable there. They can put up big numbers. But sometimes players like that are easier to beat because they really struggle with that blocker. So a good example of that is, so I played in my first ever ACL tournament last year, played in the intermediate division, won my second ever tournament, but was just racing. I threw fire heats, I believe, 7.9 bag, just moved myself up, went to competitive, and did not have a lot of success early on because what I realized is a lot of people up there, they can hole race too, and they're good at it. And then I started to lose matches where even if I was shooting an 8, 8.5, had a good match, my opponents were shooting like a 9 or higher. And I'm like, man, everyone is putting up good numbers. Why is that? Well, the reason why is they're really good at hole racing too. So a lot of early players, you're really developing, just getting really good at putting bag in the hole when you have that opportunity. So that's when I learned, hey, you're gonna have to play defense, right? So a good strategy to win games is not just putting bags in the hole, but preventing your opponent from doing so as well. So that's where I have the block push category. Now, again, I just talked about how I am not a very good, because I have that unique grip, I am not great at throwing a perfectly flat bag every time. It's something I've worked on, but it just doesn't work for me. I guess because I've thrown hundreds of thousands of bags for reviews, I practiced bad habits for so long, so I put a Band-Aid on it and find stuff that works. Now, part of that Band-Aid is throwing a bag that has a flat disc fill because it does not punish me as bad. So if I'm wanting to lay blockers, I'm obviously going to throw something a little slower that I can park in front of the hole and then look to collect later. Good bags that do that for me. So if I throw like a 6.9 when I'm wanting to hole race, I'm wanting to slow it down a little bit, to like a 5.8, 5.9. That's where it'd be like a Lucky Surefire, a Ultra Viper B. My favorite slow bag to play like block push with is the Local Outlaw. I've thrown this bag a lot recently. It is super floppy. I have a yellow set that's even soupier than these. Plays like a 4 on the slow side, like a 9 on the fast, but I can just park this bag. I can throw airmails with this one all day just because it's so slow. I put it on that slow side, throw it at the hole. If I miss, leave it short. I can collect it with the fast side. So love this bag, super forgiving. The Sub-Zero Blizzard, which is also a surefire variant. Again, these are all going to play about that 5/8. They have a sort of flat disc or a very light mix that's not going to be super active. Because they're so floppy, they will be forgiving. Another great example of this, a bag I love, is the 2023 version of the Ninja Street. Herringbone carpet, plays about a 5, 5.5. Paired with that sort of surefire fast side, about an 8, 9. So depending on if I really want to play that block push, I can throw one of these bags, lay blockers, and then look to collect it later with a lot of success. Another bag I've been playing with recently that's super forgiving is the Buffalo Shadow. Plays about a 5.5, 9 as well. But I can play this style of game with these very well. Now, what I learned is that going to tournaments, and when I started to change more to a block push, I did see a lot more success because I stopped those hole runners from, well, if I was doing what I needed to do. There's still players where I'll mess up often. They will certainly take advantage. Good players will. But if you learn to throw that block and then get good at collecting it, you could take your game to the next level. And I had a lot more success in doing that. However, that came at a price as well. Recently, I ran into a guy at a tournament, was playing block push. This guy from out of state showed up that I'm not very familiar with, and he probably hit 20 to 25 roll shots because every block I threw, he just rolled right over it. He'd cut around it, and I was like, man, this guy's good. It's harder to do that with these thinner, disc-filled, floppy bags. They're much harder to roll. Yes, they're forgiving if you don't throw a flat bag, but you're not going to throw as many trick shots, get as crafty with it. That's where I go into like the next level of bag, which are your active bags, your rollers. That's where I would have like the BG Viking, a 4.7. You're looking at a puffier, fuller, smaller template bag that you can roll. This, again, I'm not a big fan of the fast side on the Vikings, but a great bag to roll. It's very active. The Moccasin, this is basically a smaller BG Wizard. BG Wizard may be the most popular bag on the planet right now. I'm not talking about the L's. I'm talking about just the regular Wizard. Fuller bag, has sort of a more of a mixed fill that's kind of a rounder fill that's easier to roll. These Moccasins have a similar fill, probably more of a round bead fill actually. So these are super easy bags to like roll. They're gonna be active. But again, if you don't throw a very flat bag, so someone like me, this Moccasin, I love this bag, but if I am not releasing the bag very flat, it's going to punish me because my bags come in nosediving. So if I come in, let's say fast side, I'm trying to roll, it could roll over. Great. But if I land just a little bit on a corner, this bag could kick. I'm not really sure where it's going to end up. So oftentimes if I come out or if I get nervous in a match and I don't follow through on my release and the bag comes out a little crooked and it lands sideways, I have no idea where this is going to end up, and that is not good. So if you do not throw a perfectly flat bag, you need to be careful throwing any of the bags that are in this category because they could punish you. Another one that I'm trying to work with here is the Ninja Spy. Just got them in this week, so anxious to see how that goes. Probably the most roll-friendly bag on the planet that I've ever reviewed is a Cornhole Coastal Boardwalker. This thing is all round bead filled. This thing rolls whether you want it to or not. So if you have that style of game, you love to roll bags, throw these, about a 4.9. My favorite bag that I like to roll is the Buffalo Frenzy. And this is a little weird because it doesn't technically make sense as to why this is. This bag is a flat disc filled bag. Normally, if you throw a bag that you want to roll, like I said, you're going to want a all bead filled or heavy bead filled mix that will be more active on the boards. These, because the material is so slow, this is that Combat Slow, Black Sheep OG2 slow, Ninja Spy slow. What's going to happen with these is they're going to want to grab, and especially if you come at an angle, they're really easy. So since I throw a bag that already kind of nosedives, I can throw this one on the fast side, and as soon as it hits, it rolls over. So I can roll this one pretty well, and because it's flat disc filled, If I do want to throw, if I have an open hole and I just want to throw it on the fast side and just run the hole, this one will be a little more forgiving because it is flat disc filled than some of these others, where if I get a little sideways, it's going to kick on me. This one doesn't kick as bad, but it's still very easy for me to roll. So if I'm throwing a roll shot type of game, if I decide I'm going to do that, venture into that, not my total comfort zone, but I'm getting much better at it now than I was a couple months ago. This is the bag I'm currently going to throw to do that. Last category, this is what I call the hybrid category of bags. These are ones that I can hole race if I want to. These are all mixed fill. So, but they're not quite as small, full, but they're easy to run the hole. They're not going to punish me terribly. So I can hole race, but if I need to roll a bag for any reason, these give me that capability. The newer version of the Street, the 2023 version was all flat disc, floppier, thinner. Definitely a bag that I would play that block push style with, where this one will punish me if I don't throw it perfectly flat. I have thrown this bags in some big tournaments before and got destroyed because I wasn't releasing it well. I was getting nervous, whatever it may be, did not have a good release, and the bag would start like jumping and kicking on me. But normally this is a bag under normal conditions I can play pretty well and do different things with. Ninja Smoke, the OG Smoke, the 2.0 as it's called in their newer version, same as the Pro Snipers. The only difference is those are flat disc filled. They're much more forgiving. This has a mixed fill. So this will be more hole friendly, but it also is a little more active. I am much more capable of rolling this if I need to than I am a Pro Sniper, which can get really soupy and really floppy, and though they're fast and easy to hole race with. Sub-Zero Avalanche, this has that Viking slow side. So this is a bag that I would throw if the boards were like super fast and I still wanted the ability to hole race, because I can do it with this fast side, because it definitely is a thinner bag, but it's still capable of throwing a roll shot if necessary too. The most underrated cornhole bag on the planet, which is the Razor Knuckle. There's just something about this bag. Everyone who throws it that I've let thrown it, they've never heard of it, but they love it. I don't know why this bag isn't more popular. This carpet's awesome. Probably plays about a 5.5-ish, so it's still capable of throwing a block, still capable of running the board. It's a bigger, larger template, but I can also roll it. This bag can do anything, yet it's super forgiving. And then maybe my favorite bag on the planet right now, I have yet to review it, so getting a little ahead of myself, is the 710 Corruption, which is that Viper R carpet. So it's not a Viper R carpet. It is similar to that carpet. Plays about a 5.5, 6 maybe, but it's smaller template, but it's very forgiving. I feel like it's mostly disc, but there is some, there's definitely a mix in there. Can roll it, can run the board with it, can play whatever style of game I want to play with this. But again, there's just no bag, no matter how much I love it, is going to be as forgiving as those all disc filled bags that are just going to go at the hole. So if you want to get really good at hole racing, you just want to race, that's your style of play, go all disc filled. Thinner bags, just run the hole. Block push, if you want to throw those blockers, make sure you're playing defense, take your game to the next level. Again, get something that's probably disc filled beads if you want to have some roll, but if it has that mix or a round bead fill, that's probably more of those hybrid bags. And then if you really want to like challenge yourself, or you're really good, take your game to the next level to where you want to play bags that are active, that are rolling, hit flop shots you want to cut regularly, jump into one of these bags that are usually the mixed fill, fuller bag, smaller template, that are really active on the boards. Last suggestion I'll make is pick the style of game you want to play, and then pick different bags in that category that have different speeds that give you different capabilities. Like I said, if I'm wanting to play, I'll go with the flat disc hole racing bags. If I'm just wanting to throw regular speed, I'm probably going to throw the zones, the Tempest, Pro Sniper, whatever, to start with, just a hole race. If it gets really humid and sticky, but I still want to play that style of game, I've got this bag, the Podiums, where I can play the exact same style of game I was playing with those, but now I'm able to accommodate the condition change. I have won a lot of tournaments with that because I was able to switch bags and still play the same speed, where my opponent's still trying to throw the exact same thing. If I'm throwing Pro Snipers, they're throwing Pro Snipers, and it gets humid, their bags slow down, they're playing like a 4-7 now, they can't play the game that they're used to playing, I'm switching a podium and I'm still throwing what I was doing under normal conditions with a pro sniper. So pick the style of game you want to play, find bags that play that style, and then pick different speeds that fit that style of play. That's the most important cornhole tip I can give you for like how to select a bag that's right for you. You guys can reach out to me anytime if you have any questions, and I'll help you try to figure those out. And again, more bag reviews are coming. I appreciate your patience, guys. Look forward to a good new year, and as more bags keep coming my way, I'll keep reviewing them and telling you about them. Have a good new year, guys. Thank you.